Hey, welcome back to the Club Junkie Podcast. Hopefully you're having a great week. Welcome back to Thursday. It is a big time Thursday for me. If you're listening to this Thursday morning or anytime Thursday or Friday or Saturday or Sunday, I'm playing golf. I'm at the Sragwa, my annual golf trip. I'm on it, but I'm recording this the day before. So to have a podcast out, before we get into today's episode, I just want to let you know this episode is brought to you by Titleist and the Pro V1, Pro V1X golf ball. How does the best get better? Well, we're going to find out because now there's a new Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X. The original launch of the Pro V1 was in 2000, so this marks the 25th anniversary of the Pro V1. Titleist R&D asked players what they wanted in the new Pro V1 and Pro V1X, and they said more spin on scoring shots into the green. R&D delivered as both models give players increased spin. They also provide more speed off the tee and more control with the irons. Many on tour are already teeing up the new Pro V1 and Pro V1X, including Ludwig Oberg, Wyndham Clark, and Will Zalatoris. The new Pro V1 is a great fit for most players and a great place to start your golf ball fitting process. Compared to Pro V1, the new Pro V1X is a higher flight and a firmer feel, and then there's also Pro V1X Left Dash. If you're looking for a flight similar to Pro V1X, but with much lower full swing spin and a firmer feel, visit Titleist.com today to check out everything new about the new Pro V1, Pro V1X, and Pro V1X Left Dash. So yeah, welcome to Thursday, or whatever day you're listening. Either way, I am probably playing golf if it is Thursday through Sunday. So yes, this is my annual thing. I know we had a big show about it last week. I won't get into it again. You guys kind of know the deal, but we got the warm-up 18 today, and I'm recording this on Wednesday afternoon, so I will be heading out of here tonight. Heading down, going kind of halfway, and then my brother and one of the guys and I will all kind of run together down to French Lick and go have some fun. So I'm excited, and you know me, I've already been messing with the backup bag. So I've been putting some stuff and building some stuff. I got a shaft that is not out yet, and I'm like debating, do I bring it? And I was like texting my brother, do I bring this shaft, or should I set this thing up and So they of course, said no, don't do it. But I may bring it anyway and play it on Thursday because why not? Thursday's round doesn't really matter. It's just more for fun. But yes, I've already been kind of contemplating some different things for Thursday's bag. But we'll see. I'll probably stick with majority of what I have. But yeah, I'm excited to go. I'm really excited to get down there and play. I'm excited because a lot of these guys I don't see except for one time this year. So it's fun to see those guys. Like I said, we all go back, way back. A lot of guys all went to high school together, and a few guys met a little bit after that, but we've been doing this for a long time, and it's a whole lot of fun. So doing that, but yeah, today's episode, it might be a little bit shorter because I'm kind of packing and getting stuff ready, but I definitely wanted to talk about, I got two clubs to talk about. The first one, I'm very impressed with. I was kind of shocked that when I hit it, but we're going to talk today about the Ping i240s, the brand new Ping i240. I know this iron, it's funny because like looks wise, when this thing first kind of hit the tour and everybody's looking at it, everybody hated the carbon fiber up top and the badging. And to me, I'm not a guy who cares that much about the external backing of a club. It doesn't really matter to me. I mean, yes, there's stuff that's better looking than others to my eye. I think with any golfer, that's just the way it is. There's certain clubs that just look good to you. But the back badging on a club would never stop me from playing it if it's a good club. It's one of these things you just don't see from a dress. I don't really care what it looks like in the bag. If somebody comes walking by and looks at my bag and sees something that they don't like, I mean that's fine. Like I like it for what it does. But this iron here, I was really excited. I like the 230s. I have a set of 230s. Played them a decent amount, and played them really well. I thought they were a great blend of like consistency and forgiveness, and they weren't crazy long. They weren't the best feeling irons in the world, but they really were easy to hit. They looked like a player's club. They didn't have a ton of offset, and they did a great job. I think they were a really solid iron. Now, I never got into like the i210 stuff and some of those other like kind of cult classic irons. I was a little late to the Ping i-series party, but I really did like the 230s a lot. And then, the 240s. I just got, I don't have a full set. I just have a 4.7 and a pitching wedge. I've reached out to Ping to see if I can maybe round out this set to make it match because I do want to get these on the course. I think they have been that good. And I think that kind of foreshadows what I'm going to talk about. I think Ping did a really nice job. And let's be honest, Ping rarely misses. When you look at a Ping irons, woods, whatever, rarely do you get any club from them that the version that was 2 years old is not improved upon in the newest version. It's very rare. I feel like, even like when i210 and then i230 came out, everybody was like, oh, it'll never beat i210. And I think there's still a little bit of cult like 210 love, but I think 230 did really, really well. I think a lot of people were noticing that it's a great iron. It's, you can move on. It's got some improvements. So these, I was expecting to be good. I expected, with the 230s being solid, I expected these to be really good. And I'm not going to lie, out of the gate, first swing, I had the pitching wedge. I was at the range, and I was hitting a couple irons to kind of decide what I was going to take on my trip. For my trip, I actually had I had the Cobra 3DP Tours, the Callaway Apex AI 150s, and then I had my P770s that I kind of played last year at this event. And I had all three, and then I just threw the force or just the 7 and pitch actually in the bag to bring with me. And I kind of hit some balls, whatever, and I pulled that pitching wedge out, and the first shot I hit on it was, just absolutely dead flush center. The ball was high. It went. It was just like one of those perfect swing, perfect shots thing, and I was just like, whoa, like that was really good. And out of that first shot, I was also like, these actually feel a little bit softer than the 230s. So right out of the gate, first shot, I was like, these are really solid. Hit a few with the pitching wedge, hit some with 7-iron, went back to the pit. So I hit a bunch between the two, and yeah, I'm really impressed with the 240. We'll start, just in terms of the 240, just an impressive. It's a look that looks a lot like the 230. I feel like it's a little bit slimmed down. When you look down on it, I don't think it actually is, but it does feel like it's a touch more slimmed down from the 230. I know it's, like I said, probably not, but the top line just seems a little bit thinner. It seems like a touch shorter heel to toe, and I think with that badging, it offered a little bit of, I don't know, smaller look. When you see the cavity, I think it makes it look a little bit smaller than it actually does. So, yeah, really impressed with the look. I think Ping did a nice job. From address, it's a Ping, let's be honest. Ping irons have kind of a distinct look. They've got a little bit of offset. The top line isn't razor thin. It's got a little heft to it. But overall, the shape is good. The toe is pretty squared off, and it's sharp up at the top. But overall, I think that's a good look. I think that looks really good. I think a lot of good players are going to look down at this iron and be very kind of happy and impressed with it. And it is and it's a solid club. So they basically put a lower CG in this one. It's got, I think, a bigger kind of urethane back on there. That elastomer badge, I think it's a little bit bigger in this one. So it's should reduce some of the feel. And you're going to see more of that cavity back design on there. So again, this is, I think, when you look at irons, and there's so many, like the categories are starting to get a little muddled, I feel like players distance bleeds over into irons that I don't feel are players distance, and then irons that are more player or kind of put to this one here. I feel like this is, I don't want to call it players distance because I don't think it's a distance club. It's not built for speed. I feel like this is a better players club. It's just bigger. It's not as small as a P7CB or, a Callaway X Forged or, even a T100, something like that. Like, this is bigger than that. This is more forgiving, more playable. But in terms of the way it performs a lot like those, where it's extremely consistent, extremely repetitive, and when you put good swings on it, it's going to produce the same result over and over and over again. You don't have to worry about hot spots or low spin just bombs out of the rough because there's just no spin in the club or anything like that. Like, it just does everything really well, and I think it's kind of one of those where I feel like this one's a little bit hard to put in a perfect bucket. But overall, they did a really nice job with this thing, and it looks, from the looks perspective, looks really good. Sole design, much like the 230, you got that kind of rounded leading edge. You got a little bit of relief in the back. The sole's a little bit wide, but it's not crazy wide. It's nothing too insane. Of course, out in the toe, you've got your weight there, your weight screw, where they can dial in the swing weight and all that. So very pingish, not a huge difference. The badge is the biggest difference from the 230. I think if you put kind of an all-silver badge in there, you wouldn't know a ton of difference between those two irons. So this thing here, it's basically meant to have lower CG, higher MOI. That's kind of the big thing in it. And they said especially it's kind of a little bit progressive in terms of the MOI, like the 4-iron, 5-iron are going to have higher MOI. And then, as you get down to the lower iron or the shorter irons, you're going to have a little bit less there. But, again, overall, I think looks are really good. Now, in terms of feel, sound and feel, I'm going to say softer than i230. That was the one thing I never really truly loved about i230. I felt like it was a pretty firm club. If you didn't hit it dead flush center, it was clicky and it was firm. And this here, while it still has a little firmness and a little click, I mean, that's just a ping thing. These definitely are softer all the way around. Dead center shots, definitely softer, have more of a thud kind of sound to it, more of a little bit of a knock than a click, so definitely lower pitched on the tone scale. And when you do miss it, the click isn't near as harsh, near as high pitched, anything like that. So the good part is I think the feel and sound are definitely improved, definitely softer over the i230. And then performance-wise, I didn't really think about it, so I didn't bring my 230. Now, shaft-wise, they're completely different. My 230s have a set of axioms in there, 105 stiffs. These were sent just as a set, and they were actually built up with Modus Tour 115s, which I like that shaft a lot, but they put an X in it. And the funny thing is, I didn't realize it was an X until I looked at it closely after I'd hit them. And I was like, I hit this thing so well, and then I was like, wait, that's an X? Like, I don't play X in iron shafts. Like, I don't swing it. I'm like an 84 mile an hour 7-iron guy. Like, I don't play stuff that's stiff enough to be, I'm not fast enough to play an X. But didn't even look at it, just took them out, hit them, and after hitting them was like, these things are, I think this thing's with a stiff in there, it could add a little bit of ball speed and even maybe a touch more height depending on the shaft, and these things would be really, really good. So overall, really cool. The face on these is fully milled, so again, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see my strike pattern was actually pretty solid, pretty consistent. It was just a slight bit heelward compared to the dead center, and I didn't have any misses off the toe, which is kind of nice because that's been a little bit of my miss lately. With irons, I've been getting kind of over the top and from out to in and hitting it off the toe. But everything was pretty much, just slightly heel bias, which again could show exactly where, ball speed, or not ball speed, but like distance wise, these things were not that long. Because again, hitting them against those other irons, the Apex are super hot. The P770 has a little bit of heat to it, a little bit of distance. The 3DP Tour really doesn't. That face is pretty firm. So I was hitting them against those, and when I noticed it, it was kind of it was basically the I wouldn't say the shortest of the three. It wasn't actually the shortest. It technically was by like half a yard, the shortest iron. But I was hitting it a little shorter, but then looking at, the pattern on there, on the 7-iron, you can definitely tell that everything was a little bit more heelward. It wasn't dead center. And looking through, the shots that I was hitting, the ones that I'm assuming were hit dead center, when you look at ball speed and carry number and height and all that, when I did catch them in the center, they definitely were a little bit longer. So, but yeah, I had these out there. The first thing I would say is height. The first shots that I hit with pitching wedge with 7-iron was just pure height. Compared to those other 3 irons, definitely goes higher. Interesting enough, the P770 was actually closer than I thought. The windows when you're actually hitting them out on the range, I felt like the 240 was substantially higher. I think overall, though, it was consistently higher. So when you looked at, and that's the theme through everything. I'll tell you, every stat that I went through when I looked at, because I had my full swing kit out there, I was hitting balls, and every stat on there with these irons, you're talking within crazy tight tolerances. And I'm not that good of a player. Like, I'm not a guy who can sit there like a robot and just hit 7-iron into a bucket out on the range. Like, I don't have that type of game. I'm not that good. So when I see the numbers that are this tight, it's definitely got something to do with the club. I was hitting it okay that day, but like I said, I'm not that good of a player. So, but with the 7-iron, the first thing I noticed was height. It just came out of a different window compared especially to AI-150 and the Cobra. Just launches high and goes. Now, the carry number was definitely a little bit lower. I'm trying to get back to hitting my 7-iron 160. I'm a little bit behind that with certain irons with more of a distance iron like the Apex AI-150. I'm like 161 on average. Those things have some definite little bit more speed to them, where as in, the Cobra and all that, I'm more in that like 157-ish range. So trying to get back to 160 on a hot day with no wind or whatever. 160 is my number that I try to get with a 7-iron. My club head speed with 7-iron is not fast. I'm like 84 miles an hour. So you'll see some swings that are 86s. You'll see some swings that are 83s. I'm all around. So like 84 is kind of my average. I'm a almost mid 80 7-iron swing guy, which I just don't swing irons fast. I never have. I don't know what that is. I wish I could kind of tone the driver down to that, and then I'd probably be more consistent. But yeah. So anyway, window was the biggest thing. The other thing was just how straight the ball went. I felt like with every other iron I was hitting, there was a little bit of curvature. You'd see a little bit of draw. Lately my shot shape is typically a draw, but seeing lots of draws, and then a little bit of if I did fade the ball, you see a little curvature. Like these were just dead straight. Like they just went straight. They didn't have a ton of curvature to them, but the spin number was still high on it. Like it wasn't like they were just hitting knuckleballs that, of course, didn't move because there was no spin on it. Like it was the highest spinning iron out of the 4 that I was hitting, and I wasn't doing it as a comparison. Just I have the numbers, just like I kind of threw them up here. It was the highest spinning iron out of all of them, and it was going just dead straight. So every shot I hit was pretty much straight. It literally, when you look at the dispersion chart on full swing, it was honestly just like it was the tightest circle out of all of them. I wish I could kind of full swing. I wish they had a little better interface in terms of showing those type of things, because when you look at how tight it was, it's like trying to compare it to everything else is not the greatest, but everything there was really, really small. When you start pulling it out and looking at the yardage from 50 yards in. I mean, I'll put this on YouTube. You can see like that is. I mean, I'm showing it on my phone, of course, but you could see like that at 150. It's just like crazy tight. And if I put on one of the other 7 irons, and I'll just put on one of them, I don't know which one I even put on. Oh, of course, it's the one that's like the same color. It's always my thing. But even an iron that I hit really well, which this one here, which one is that? That is, I don't know, this is terrible for, so this would be like P770. You look at the difference in terms of the tightness on that. And the P770, it was good. I was hitting that pretty well all day. And the i240 was just extremely tight. So dispersion, really, really good. I was really surprised at how forgiving these are. Now, I wasn't hitting stuff way offline or anything like that. And of course, it's the range, so there's no pressure hitting into the green. You have, if you hit a bad shot, you just grab another ball. But these here, dead straight, very, very high, very little curvature on them. I was really, really impressed. So my carry yardage with this thing, with the 7 iron, my average 155, and I went anywhere from 153 to 159. That was it. It was 6 yards was the difference. I mean, the downside is like the 2 that I flat out flushed were 158, 159. So it didn't quite hit that 160 number. I wonder if going to like power spec would actually do that, because the dilemma, well, if when I go power spec, would that add a little distance, or if I go to like a stiff shaft, could that add just a touch of ball speed to get me to that 160 number? And I think between maybe power spec and a softer shaft, I could get it there to 160 pretty easily without doing much. But 155 was the average number, taking in kind of all shots. But again, when I look at just the number there in terms of the carry number and those shots, I mean, there was, I want to say, I had one kind of miss. The worst heel, kind of low, thin heel shot was 150. And then everything else was between 153.5 and 159.3. So those were all the shots. Like, so, I mean, yes, if you take that one outlier out of there, and then again, if you take that if you take the 150 out of there, the average probably goes up, and that carry probably goes to like 156 or 157. But basically, on decently struck shots, 153 to 159. So you're basically looking at 6 yards. And for me, like, that's crazy that 6 yards was kind of all was there. But 155.1 was the average there in terms of carry for this one. And again, I'm not gawking at that. Like, that's pretty darn good. When you consider, like, I don't delete stuff that isn't, I'm not deleting not perfect shots. The other one that was really kind of interesting, because I didn't realize like how tight it was again, was spin rate. So my spin average was 64.51 with a 7 iron and a range ball. And honestly, I feel like these range balls didn't spin at all, because everything I hit was super low. Drivers, 3 woods, every club, wedges, full wedge shots were coming out at like 6,000 supposedly, and I was like, well, it's like a 56, like hit 90 yards, like that should be higher than that. And it wasn't like I was hitting all draws, even fades, stuff like that. Just like the spin numbers were low, and I want to say that this thing basically ranged from 59.70 was the lowest one with this 7 iron, and the highest one was 67.03. So you're talking 800 RPM different. And honestly, after that 5,900, it was basically between 64.17 and 67.03. It was. I mean, those were all the main shots. There was a 6,000. There was a 59.70. There were some lower ones there, but 64.51 to 67 6703 were kind of like, that was the big range. Or sorry, 6417 to 6703 were kind of like the main shots in there. So the spin was extremely consistent. Now, this is off a mat with range balls, all that. So yes, I haven't been able to hit it between rough and fairway and stuff like that. And I really need to hit some like better balls in my own net. But I mean, I as soon as I started hitting this, like I kind of, I won't say fell in love with it, but I just wanted to keep hitting more shots out on the range. But spin, super, super tight. Same thing when you get into ball speed and you look at the ball speed. The worst one was 1092, which is that ball that won 150. 1092 was the lowest, and then every other shot was between 111 and 114. So 112.3 was my average, and it was basically 2 miles an hour. So basically that 109, but then everything else 111 and 114.6 was my highest, and that was the ball that went 159. So I literally, I mean, the consistency there, even, and again, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see where all the shots were hit. You know, kind of slightly heel, but I mean, fairly center, but all slightly heel. And, you know, I was getting basically 112, 113, you know, 112 to 113 ball speed out of that. And again, 84 mile an hour club head speed, that's pretty darn consistent. And it just didn't fluctuate. Like, I was just super impressed with how that was. And the same thing, like when I look at my club head speed, there was like an 85.5 and my lowest was an 83.5. So, I mean, yeah, 85.5, 83.5 were my highs and lows. Everything else was right in between there. So it was like I wasn't swinging them crazy different. And then we get into launch on there. So smash factor on this thing, I didn't really actually write that down, which I guess I should have put it, because it was 135. Same thing, you know, when you look at the thing on there. I mean, 131, 135, 139, 136. There was a 140 in there. You know, again, it's just like, it's crazy how consistent these things were. Then launch angle, definitely, you know, really high. I mean, the lowest launch angle I had there was a 16.9, so 17, and then it went up to a 21.8 on there. So there was a 20.8, a 21, a 19.3, a 20.3. It was crazy that all these things were basically between, I think that one low 17.4, or yeah, there was a 16.9, so that was my lowest one, and then a high of like, yeah, so I mean, everything in there, other than that one shot, was basically between 19.3 and 22, I think. So yeah, so 20.1 was my average. But launch-wise, I had, you know, one low shot and everything else stayed within 2 degrees of that, which is really, really crazy. And then the same thing, you get into apex, you know, on looking at those shots, a high of 103. The worst shot I had was 80. And 80 was like what I kind of had the Cobra like averaging. Averaging the Cobra was 80 or 79 when I was hitting those, and my lowest shot with the i240s was 80. So a bunch of 103s, 99s, 94, 98, 96, 86. I mean, it was like all these shots, no matter where I hit it, were getting up in the air and going high. And it was just, like I said, extremely impressive. I think a better player who wants something that's easy to hit, this iron is going to offer that consistency and that stability, or that consistency that they're going to have. So like when you have shots out of the rough, they're going to go, or I mean, so shots out of the fairway, they're going to go the exact same every single time. Like, it's just going to be one of those distance control things where I hit my 7-iron 160, and every time you hit it solid, it's going to go 160, and you then can count on that. And your north to south or back to front, you know, dispersion is going to be insanely tight. Now, if you miss it, yeah, you know it's going to drop off or whatever, but the drop off hasn't been that crazy. Now, I haven't been hitting it crazy out on the toe or you know hitting it fat or anything like that, but for, you know, general misses on players who are better, especially better than me, like, I think this thing is going to offer a ton of consistency in terms of launch and spin. And then, yeah, we'll have to see, you know, out of the rough, does things change? You know, does it really drop or does it maintain? But out of the, you know, a fairway lie, the shots here are going to be extremely consistent. Yeah, overall, you know, stability. Again, I didn't hit a ton of shots wearably, but everything went straight. It was the tightest dispersion out of everything here. It would be one of those things where, if I had the full set of these, would I take them on my trip instead of you know, instead of the Cobras or instead of the Callaways? I don't know. Maybe I'd have to see how everything goes between, you know, 5, you know, the rest of the irons, but 7-iron pitching wedge were really, really good. I didn't actually look to see what pitching wedge. Did I even record it? I know it's kind of like in a warm up phase there. Yeah, I mean, pitching wedge. I had a couple shots that as you warmed up were bad. If I, like, you know, I had like a 67 in there that I must have just hit way right or something like that. But my pitching wedge, I mean, I had a shot that was 99, and then everything else was 111 to 120. So 8 yards difference. So 111, 115. 115, 119, 117. I mean, all those there were crazy. Yeah, let's just go spin because that will tell us how low. Oh, yeah. Dude, these shots were like lower than the 7-iron, like 65, 68. These balls were terrible. But anyway, but yeah, consistency was the biggest thing. So I think, if you're looking for an iron that speed isn't your number one factor, like you're not looking for the hottest iron out there, you're looking for consistency, ease of launch, and easy to hit. These 240s are really good. I'm really hoping to get the rest of the set, so I can take them on the course and put them out there. But so far, really, really impressed with these. I think they're really solid. Again, I think the sound and feel is improved. I think they're easy to hit. They launch high. Now, I know some people love like the old i210 because it came out really flat and it was low launching. This, I think, is not quite that. It's definitely a little bit higher. But I do have to say that, just the consistency of all those shots is really, really impressive. So i240, I'm a big fan. I think they've been really good. If you're looking for something where speed isn't your main factor, it's more consistency and dispersion. I think this iron is really, really going to be solid. And I think also on the other end, if you're looking for, hey, I'm a guy who used to play like a Forge one-piece CB, family life, all that work has caught up, and I don't practice as much anymore, but I want something that I know I can hit shots with. I don't can hit precise shots with, but I want a little bit of forgiveness, a little help. I mean, this thing here is a tough one to beat. I think it fits that bill really, really well. And then again, fast players who maybe don't hit it super high could definitely find this to be something that works out really well for their swing. So a really, really solid Ironman. But I'm a big fan of the i240 so far. So so far, big fan. I like them. I'm hoping that the boys at Ping will be nice and send me the 6-7 or the 5-6. 8 and 9 irons that I can go out and play with these things. So I definitely want to get them on the course, and I want to see how they go with the real ball and all that, and the turf interaction, all that stuff. But so far, range time, I've been a big fan of what those irons are doing. So go to ping.com, check out the i240s. You can see kind of all the specs, all that stuff. Again, I guess I could have said what, because that 7-iron there in terms of loft, because I didn't really look at that. So you're looking at 33 degrees for there. So power spec will be 31.5. So I mean, I think I could definitely hit my, if I go stiff shaft and go power spec in those, I think I could definitely get that thing to 160 pretty easily because it's pretty progressive. I mean, your long irons and power spec stay maybe half a degree to a degree, and then as you get to 7-iron, you see the bigger change in like 1.5 to 2 degrees. And then it tapers back down. And by pitching wedge, you're only half a degree strong again. So kind of unique that they do that there. I like it, but a really, really cool set. So that is the Ping i240. So big fan so far of those guys. So now next thing we'll talk about, kind of quickly, just because, I mean, it's a putter, but I did get the brand new PXG Hellcat putter. So this is that brand new zero torque blade. And of course, zero torque when you hold it. And I'm not touching it anyway. There's resting on my fingers. You see that the toe points up in the air, and it's got zero torque. So the biggest, thing, like I've explained before with these, the face always stays pointed at the target, which is, it takes a little bit out of the golf. Golf putting's hard, and if you can do one thing, which is, keep the face pointed in the direction that it's supposed to be, you can't argue with that. It helps with consistency. And this thing here is kind of PXG's kind of a more reasonably priced zero torque putter as well. This thing is $249 compared to the other putters out there that are zero torque that are pretty much $500 or $550 or anything like that. They're $400 to $500, maybe $350 for some of the Odysseys. But this does two things. One, it's a great price. You can get this thing, for $250. And the other thing about it is that it's a little bit more traditional looking. It's a blade style, kind of a wide blade look. It's not anything too crazy. It's not a big mallet. And for some players, they haven't jumped really into the zero torque arena because they don't like the mallets. They don't like the look of those things. And this is definitely something that's simple sight line on it. Silver, chrome, and it just looks pretty traditional. When you look back there, it's kind of got what looks like a little bit of a shoulder, some big bumpers, but from a dress, it just looks like, a blade, a wide blade. Now the shaft does go kind of into the weird part of the center of it, and, that's just the way these things are, and I'm trying to see if I can get it in the camera there, but I mean, it goes into kind of like the center there, But for in terms of zero torque, it is definitely one of the better looking ones out there that you can get your hands on. So still has some of the cool PXG technology. It has the pyramid face in it, so it's got a little softer feel, puts a little bit better roll in the ball. It does have a little bit of forward press into it. I think it's just a little bit. I want to say it's like 1.5 degrees. It's not a whole lot. Yeah, so it's 1 degree forward press. So it is a 4-degree loft head, but it plays like 3 because of the forward press. So it kind of works both ways. But the hosel is just kind of like this slanted hosel there that allows that shaft to act like it's going into the center of the club when it's really heel shafted. So from address, I like it. I like these hosels. The one thing they do to me at least is I feel like it gives you a better view of the putter. It doesn't like cover anything. So when you look down at the putter, you see most of it. And to me, like you can see the full sight line. It makes it easy to align, and it just gives it like a putter look. It doesn't make it look so funky. And with this one here, I think it does give it a really traditional kind of clean look. And when you putt with it, in terms of through the stroke, it does feel pretty stable. I don't think it feels as stable as Bat Attack ZT in terms of the amount of twist it wants to have as it goes through. To me, like Bat Attack wants to stay like face is there, and it just won't move. And it doesn't matter if the ball hits on the toe or the heel, or you try to manipulate it, the face just wants to stay square. The Hellcat to me has a little bit more you can manipulate. It's not as strong of the force, and I think it's just because it's a smaller package in terms of, it doesn't have as much weight far back. But it still feels pretty good. It doesn't feel as neutral as some other putters out there. Like I said, I think the PXG Allen ZT really feels like you can rotate it. If you're a high arc player, it may feel more comfortable. I think this is still begs to be a little bit more straight through, straight back, straight through. But the balance on it is pretty darn good. It's kind of in between. I'll say it's in between like the Allen and the Bat Attack. Kind of sits right in the middle there. And I think players who maybe have a slight arc, or they're not trying to get that feel of like the face really pulling towards the ball. This is going to have a good feel to it there. But overall it keeps the face square. Like I said, I've been putting with it a decent amount. I took it to the practice green. I haven't played with it in a round yet, but took it to the practice green and putting a bunch on my mat. And it does the face stays square. It's easy to square up. I didn't feel like I miss as many left as I do like with the Allen. I'm still when I do miss it, that typically is my miss. I miss it kind of left, and I think as I come straight back, straight through, I don't know if I either rotate the face shut or the path gets a little outside, but I kind of miss it to the left just a little bit, but not much. It's not bad at all. So through the stroke feels really good, and then impact, it's a little bit firmer than Bat Attack and Allen. This doesn't have the S-core material behind the face. It's not like the multi piece construction there where they put that stuff, because at the price point they just can't do it. But it does have the pyramid face, which does soften it up, but it is a little bit firmer. So compared to like the Bat Attack ZT or the Allen ZT, it's got a little more sound to it. It's a little louder. It is more of a knock sound. It's definitely not a high-pitched click. It's definitely a little bit more of a knock sound when it leaves the face. But it is a little bit firmer, especially when you're hitting them side by side. And if you use like a firmer ball, you're going to notice that this one here is just a little bit firmer. It's not bad, and overall, I think it's a good feeling putter, and it sounds good. It definitely isn't like a harshy, clicky, high-pitched sound that a lot of people don't like. It doesn't ting or ring or anything like that. It just has kind of a knock as the ball leaves the face. The pyramid face, like other PXG putters, puts a good roll on the ball. Doesn't seem to be a lot of skidding or hopping or anything. It's pretty much just a forward topspin on there, and it rolls pretty well. Aligning it is pretty simple. I think the shaping is nice. It's like that rectangular shape, so there's nothing too funky. I think between the top line, using the top line as alignment, the alignment aid in the back flange, and then just the overall shape, I think it's pretty easy to get it lined up to your target, and to know that it's, if it is a little open, a little closed, easy to recognize, easy to fix really quickly. So alignment and getting the ball started on the line you intend to, very, very easy, very simple. And I think that's where zero torque putters really excel. If you're a player who just, you read the putt right, you typically have decent speed, but man, you just don't get it started on the right line a lot. The zero torque putters, I feel like, can make a big difference there in terms of your game. So really easy to do there. But this thing, it rolls the ball solid. Again, the grip that it comes with, the PXG, this slant 1.5, I don't love the shape. It's very rectangular. I mean, it's like a pure rectangle. I don't love the shape in my hands. I wish they had like a different option on this thing that you could order, because I wish they had something like that. Like TaylorMade has the Super Stroke, the Pistol Tour, or the Pistol 1.0, that slight offset. I wish they'd offered something like that in this, because this one here, like, to some people it's probably great, no taper to it, but to me it's just that the rectangular shape doesn't feel as comfortable in my hands as some others. But it is a little oversized. It should relax the wrist a little bit. The material on it's tacky. I like the design of little X's. That part of it's really good. It's just the overall like kind of shape of it. I wish it was just a little bit different. But this thing here, I mean, for the value, I think it's a great value. At $250, it's got to be probably one of the less expensive zero torque putters out there from a name brand. And I think that's pretty cool. PXG is kind of like making this more available to more people, which is nice. And it does have some nice features. I mean, it's still got some milling lines on the back that you can see there. The fit and finish is actually really nice. I'm pretty sure this thing is just cast, but you're not getting you're not seeing really any pitting or anything like that you sometimes see in like cheap castings. You can see a little bit of kind of the finish in the back of the hosel that isn't perfect. But, overall, they did mill the, they do have the face there that is probably milled in. They milled a little bit of the back shoulders to give it a little bit more of a premium look. And the fit and finish is nice. The color on it is kind of this satin chrome. It almost has like a hint of like gold to it, but just a good look. It shouldn't have any glare to it. And I think it's a good putter. I mean, for $250, I feel like, a zero torque putter from a name brand and all that, I think, you're getting a pretty good value here. So, overall, I thought it was pretty good. It's definitely going to make it to the course for me. We'll take it out, hit it a little bit, but so far, just in practice and using it, I think it's a really solid option there. And yeah, offers just a touch firmer feel than the Allen or the Bat Attack. But I think it, like I said before, I think it fits in between Bat Attack being the crazy stable blade in terms of that feel where you feel the face really pulling through, impacting the ball. Then you have the Hellcat, which is a little bit more neutral, but still has good stability. And then you get to the Allen that you can kind of rotate it pretty easily, and it's a little more neutral. I think those is kind of how they sit. And depending on your putting stroke and what you like the feel of, I feel like one of those will fit into what you like. So that is the PXG Hellcat putter. There's not a lot of options for it because I think they're trying to keep the price down. So when you go on their site, it's pretty much right or left-handed. And I think it comes in like 34 inches, and that's it. The head weight's 370. It feels pretty good. It feels heavy. But I think it only comes in like 34 inches. I don't see on their site where you can change anything. Oh, you can change shaft and grip. Okay. So yeah, you can go in there and customize it and get that thing. So loft-wise, you can change the loft. You can change the lie. The shaft on there, it comes with the chrome shaft. You can get that M16 in there if you want. I think the M16 would be kind of nice in there, make it a little bit stiff with that 370 degree or 70 gram head. It doesn't really flex the shaft that much, but it wouldn't be a bad thing to add that in. And then, yeah, lengthwise, you can change it up from 34 to, if you want 35 or 33. And then grip, yeah, I wish they had a few more options that were offset, but, hey, maybe that's to come. So, but that is, if you go to pxg.com, you can check out the new Hellcat ZT. It's a solid option, man. Good value. I think it's going to be a really nice, nice putter. I think a lot of people are going to like it. So that is the show this week. So if you're not following me on Instagram, please do at Club Junkie Pod. I'm off, about to pack my stuff and get ready for the golf trip. So I'll let you guys know how that thing goes here next week. Should be fun. Hopefully come back with a victory. Won 2 years ago, lost last year. Hopefully get back on the winning track this year. So anyways, guys, have a good weekend. Hopefully you'll play some golf as well, and we'll talk next week.